Welcome to another edition of Lakers Fast Break. I'm Jamie Sweet here with Laker Tom from both of us from Lakerholics.com, where I have been remiss in posting my 5 things for the last week or so. I just have not had time. I was in Joshua Tree during the Milwaukee game and the Memphis game, so I didn't actually see either of those games. I came back and saw the highlights and thought the Milwaukee game was just a real quality win by the team, and the Memphis game was the kind of game you wanted to see against the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yep.
So then I didn't think we were going to go 6-0 on the road trip. I predicted, 4-2. Can't remember if I predicted 4-2 or 3-3. 3-3 sounds more like me, but I might have been slightly optimistic based on.
I think you were leaning. You were in between the two of them, but you sort of leaned to the 4-2.
I'm trying to be optimistic here.
You can't complain. Listen, one of the things that's really made us much better over that 5-game stretch is we were shooting well, man. I mean, we had the 6th best shooting 3-point team. And our offense and defense were both top 10 during that 5-game stretch. So, we went into a team and they shot well. I mean, Halliburton's had a problem shooting his threes, and all of a sudden he was burying them, and they had 2 or 3 guys who just with the same thing that always happens against the team. You plan there are certain guys we're going to leave open, and we're going to focus on these other guys, and these guys are going to have to beat the odds to do it, and a lot of the time they do. It never seems, at least for the home team, that those things always work out stats wise. But we just couldn't hit that broadside of a barn last night. It was, D'Lo especially was just really off. Reeves missed lots of open shots. It's 5-1 is a good road trip.
We're not there yet. We're not there.
Well, I think we're the other thing that happened. We lost, but so did a couple of other teams last night.
That's what makes the loss a little bit more.
Yeah, we're pretty well. We're going to get into the 7-8 game. The only question
we would have been almost into the 7-8 game if we were
road team.
Well, yeah, we would have been a whole game closer if we had managed to pull it out last night. But I digress. So that's speaking of the 7-8 game. I just wanted to show everybody where we're at. Here's the Western Conference standings. I even pinched the screen in so we didn't help ESPN promote any of their lame ass products. So I just want to get into this a little bit. I picked at the beginning of the season the Minnesota Timberwolves to win it all in the regular season, to be the best team in the Western Conference. I thought my prediction was going to go right down the toilet when Cat went down, and I got to give the Timberwolves credit for finding other ways to win.
I think it's helped them because Naz Reid is.
Yeah, I think it opens up.
Going to be available this summer because of Naz Reid.
So it made Alperen Sengun based on how Houston's playing, and so will Trae Young based on how Atlanta's played without him. So all mega trade scenarios will be in play. If I had to pick any of them, I'd pick Sengun, of course, based on youth and contract. But you'll have to
and position.
Well, but you'll have to
we need to get bigger. Our single first. I'm writing an article right now that the single thing that Lakers need to do this summer is get bigger. They need to have and if they can get a superstar center, that would be great.
I don't know that Sengun is that yet. I think that
bigger could also solve the Trae Young problem. The problem is
the Trae Young's out. We won't get Trae Young. Trae Young will.
God, I hope not.
I hope not. I don't see. That would be horrible. I mean, they may give it another shot with him just because. To trade him would be to admit that they made the wrong trade, right? Luka over trade in history.
But they did.
I know, but pride seems to get in the way of the Atlanta Hawks. They like to roll their roster over and over and over. They're one of those teams. It's like, no, we just need to tweak this, you guys.
Now they're thinking. Now there's got to be a way that we can get Trae and DeJounte working together.
Getting Trae Young to the Eastern Conference Finals that one season was maybe the worst possible thing that could have happened to the Hawks because they overbelieve in his ability to lead an NBA team all the way, and he simply isn't that guy. He's just not that guy. It's not his fault. He's just not that guy. I mean, it's as simple as that. He's a one-dimensional player. You could add two-dimensional with his playmaking. He can't defend. He doesn't seem to be like the kind of guy that like galvanizes a team. Like Luka seems to be the kind of guy that's figured out how to get the team to rally around him this season. And I used to think the opposite.
No, Luka was. I don't know if that. I wouldn't go that far because I don't think that's Luka. I think that's the trade that they made, man. The trade got him some defense for a change.
No, I think
I love Gafford. Gafford would have been so great for the Lakers.
Sure.
That was just a yeah, and I mean the problem is that when you look at all of the various options that the Lakers have, there is part of common sense that says that the third superstar should be a guard. You know,
it really depends.
Because we got a forward, we got two forwards right now.
It sort of depends to me on what's available. If the guard you're talking about is Trae Young, then that's a no.
It always depends on what's available. You're absolutely right there.
So let's get into this a little bit. So we see the Minnesota Timberwolves and OKC are in a statistical record, everything even, straight up, down, tie. Based on their conference record, Minnesota would win out. Unless OKC has the tiebreaker, I'm not sure about that. If somebody in the chat wants to dump that information on us, that would be dope. I'm not going to search it right now. I'll figure it out later if we haven't gotten any. It's
even hard looking at who they have to play because of who's going to be playing for who they have to play.
I'm just looking at today. I'm not worried about later. I'm just looking at today. If the season were to end today, I think the Timberwolves would be 1, OKC 2. Incredibly, the Denver Nuggets would have fallen all the way to number 3.
Right.
Clippers would play New Orleans in a series.
We're talking about a half a game here.
That's all you need. Doesn't matter what. That half game is all that's going to matter. And if the tiebreaker breaks for either of the two teams, even if you have the same record, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So the Clippers playing the Pelicans would be an interesting series. I think everybody would love to see Denver versus Dallas. I think that would be an interesting matchup that I don't think we've ever really seen Luka and Jokic face off in a playoff game. I certainly don't remember it if they did. And I feel
and Dallas now has some size.
Dallas would give
with Gafford and Lively. They,
I mean, if you look at it, Luka and Jokic basically cancel each other out.
Yep.
Kyrie and Jamal basically cancel each other out. So now it's like Aaron Gordon,
Kyrie and Jamal.
Right.
How do you get Kyrie in this situation?
Why do I get Kyrie? Because Kyrie's on Dallas. So if Dallas and Denver were to match up in the playoffs, Kyrie and Jamal are canceling each other out. Luka and Jokic are canceling each other out. Now it's Michael Porter Jr. versus Tim Hardaway and Aaron Gordon versus Lively or Gafford or any number of guys that they can throw at him. It just gets to be an interesting series. I think the edge would come down to coaching, which I would have to give to Mike Malone because he's been there. Jason Kidd's been there in other ways, but he's never won it as a coach. He's only been an assistant coach. And that was in the bubble, which, as we've discussed in the past, was it's a never to be recreated playoff scenario. I think Clippers Pelicans would be interesting. I'd take the Clippers in that just based on the fact that most of the Pelicans have never really been in the playoffs or succeeded in the playoffs.
Whereas the Clippers have a solid history of failing in the playoffs.
I know, but it's an interesting. That's a good point. That's a tried and true argument there. What's gonna
they also I have a feeling that this is the year with the Clippers. They're going to make the decisions on Paul George and all of this other stuff, and it's almost like this is the crap year, before we move into the new arena next year. Let's get rid of all of the stuff we don't want anymore,
I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to ride or die with this group into the Intuit Dome, and they're just really preying on a deep playoff.
I don't know, man. I mean,
they may do something like swap Paul George for Klay Thompson. I could even see him cutting ties.
They got to do. The problem that they have is that even though they got these superstars in 3 of them, if you count Russ in there still, they got three talented guys, but none of them really was a number one guy who could win a championship.
Kawhi was. Kawhi won a championship.
Really, not really. Yeah. He wasn't really a leader. He still isn't a leader. He never
wasn't a leader in Toronto. He wasn't the best player in Toronto. He wasn't the engine that drove the Toronto Raptors.
And he had a good 4-bounce shot that went in from three.
Hey, man. And you know, Michael Jordan got away with a push off on Byron Russell. It doesn't matter.
No doubt about it.
That's what happened. They won. I don't care about.
You have to believe in the in just one universe. That's what happens. But I mean, in the multiverse, you know, Jordan has been called for that foul several times.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. And the Utah Jazz won a championship finally to their long-suffering fan base. That should really just change the name.
Now there's an interesting team though, the Jazz.
Utah. Yeah. The Jazz?
Well, they're after the rousing start to the season, they really have fallen.
Yeah, I think
they haven't even won 30 games, man.
I think that they're going to be the Indiana Pacers of the Western Conference. I think
I'm starting to think that you know, I mean, if we got 3 first round draft picks and four pick swaps, I'd give all 7 of those for Lauri Markkanen.
No, stop. Just stop with that insanity.
That would be a fabulous deal. Listen,
no,
I
just
saw those deals where OKC was offering 2 first-round picks in the past that they had picked up, 2 guys that they picked as first-round picks, and 5 first-round choices for Markkanen.
Where do you get this stuff is beyond me. That's an absurd amount to give up for Lauri Markkanen. You're talking about we're talking about the best player on the team now, right? The best player on the team can't get his team into the play-in with a lot of veteran talent and good health. They've been healthy all season. That's not a.
He's going to go for. That's
not a take everything we have and a cherry, and let me also send you a nice ring.
No, you put him next to AD at center, and he would be the perfect match.
We'll talk about trades in a minute. Let's stick with the conference standings as they are today. We'll
but they're going to change. The first 6 are the same. They're going to stay the 6. The first 6 aren't going to.
Well,
change.
I mean, I think the order of 1 through 3 will change. I don't see really.
Sure, it could change because they're only a half a game apart. It could be
right,
anybody.
And I could see 4 through 6 swapping around a little bit depending on how well the Clippers finish. The Clippers are kind of limping into the postseason here a little bit.
True.
New Orleans is playing. New Orleans and Dallas are both playing hot. So
but nobody from 7 through 10 is going to be good enough to get up to 6.
No, not the way not the way not the way any of us are playing. The Lakers for a minute. If we had won last night, I would have said we were threatening.
We could have if we won last night.
If we had won last night, we could have kept it in the okay maybe, but not after. We would really have to have won the season out.
No, we could have
lost maybe 1 or 2 games.
Schedule. I just did this whole analysis where I looked at the schedule of these teams. And the schedule is pretty remarkable in favor of the Lakers. We have only two good games, 2 tough games left. The Phoenix Suns have 8 games left, and all 8 are tough games.
Yeah, no, they could fall down to 8 or 9.
The Kings have 5 games left. Have 9 games left, and 5 are tough games.
And I think the Kings play the Nuggets at least once. So it's going to be interesting to me to see how because I think the Timberwolves very much and OKC very much would like to finish first or second, and will play hard the rest of the season as best they can.
I've got us finish. I've got Dallas finishing 1 game better than us at 6.
Yeah,
we're 7th.
I think Dallas is going to pass New Orleans and maybe the Clippers. I think Dallas will end up 4 or 5. I think the Clippers will fall to 5 or 6, and the Pelicans will probably stay right about where they are. I think that in that scenario, then you're going to see the Clippers versus maybe the Nuggets. Right. I see the Nuggets as being less.
The Clippers are playing worse of those 3 teams there. You know.
Well, I think the Nuggets think that they can win a game on anybody's home floor, and that teams will very much struggle to win in Denver, right? Yeah. So I don't think they care. As long as they get a home court advantage here or there, they're fine. No team in the West is going to have a better record than the Boston Celtics. So no matter what, in the NBA Finals, you're playing on Boston's home floor. right? If Boston goes all the way. I'm
Well,
assuming
I have questions about whether Boston has enough to go all the way.
the bench for Boston is a huge concern. We could pull up the
and they have a lot of players who are injury prone.
Yeah, but you get a lot of rest. There's a lot, I think that Porzingis. I have to give Kristaps Porzingis some credit. Whatever he's done in the last 2-3 seasons over the summer to make himself more available, you got to give that guy a lot of credit, because that was my number one knock against ever acquiring.
All those big guys, whether it's AD or Porzingis, it's one step of the foot.
Sure, that's anybody. I mean, Kobe blew out his Achilles on a non-contact injury like that.
But I mean, when you get guys, I mean, it's the thing that you have to worry about. I think with the types of guys that are coming into the league now with Wembanyama and those, you just have to feel that you've got such huge long limbs and the power, the leverage that you get when those are swinging around. It's so easy to get injured.
Speaking of Boston, I was astounded to see this article by you. When I saw this, I was like, am I on the wrong page here? What
That's one of my favorite articles of the year.
Oh God, don't say that.
It is. What don't you like about it?
This picture.
Oh yeah.
This picture pisses me off.
Show the picture.
It's here. There you go.
I don't see it.
Oh, it's not. It should be. Oh, hold on. Let me say hide on stream. What do I do? What did I do wrong here? Show on stream. I don't know. I know.
Yeah, I've never done an article with a picture like that. I have to admit it was.
Let's do this. Share.
Percolated for a while.
Okay, there we go. Now you can see it, right? Here's the picture. Here's Tom with glasses as usual. This is a couple days ago. So if you'd like to, with this picture, look at it. What is this doing on a Lakerholics website? What is going on here? Come on, man. Should the Lakers? It's what the heck is going on? Oh, because I didn't do this. There we go. There I go. All right. Sorry, my bad.
Technical difficulty. So we can see the picture.
Yeah. All right. There we go. There you go. Look at this thing. Look at these ugly guys. Look at this terrible looking. Look at these colors that I hate. That city that I loathe. All of it. Should the Lakers cop
with the rest of the website? I admit.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
They did exactly what we need to do, which is we need a point of attack defender, whom they got in Drew Holiday, and a modern two-way center, whom they got in Kristaps.
We already have our modern two-way center. Our modern two-way center is AD. We don't need another.
He's a modern two-way forward.
Whatever. It's interchangeable.
If you want to beat the Nuggets, you're going to need a center.
We have a center. His name is Anthony Davis. It's fine. I get it that he whines about it every year. I'm over it. I don't care. I'm like, dude.
When he plays against Sabonis, when he plays against Jokic, you need another big.
Yeah.
It's simple.
It's
the biggest thing the Lakers. It's the biggest thing that'll keep the Lakers from winning this year is the fact that we did not during last summer or at the trade deadline even get a good backup center.
I like Jackson Hayes as a backup center. I think what you're looking for is another dynamic.
I want a rim protector when AD is on the bench.
Sure,
and we don't have one.
No, Jackson Hayes has not developed into that like we all hoped he would. He's
done a fine job as a dunker.
I will say this: I would be curious to see how he came back after a year developing with the Lakers, maybe even playing with the summer league team.
I hope he takes his player option.
I don't see how he wouldn't. I think he and Wood are picking up their player options. Maybe even Cam, but maybe not Cam. Cam's a tough one. I mean, I could see him saying I'll stay here for the clutch connection.
What Darvin says to him.
I think it kind of depends on how.
Don't worry, Cam. Prince is gone because he's on a 1-year contract. But if you take your option.
I mean, Ham will bemoan Prince's departure. He will not say that Prince is gone. He'll be like, Cam, I kind of hope you leave so that it's more likely that we sign my boy. It's your boy, Torian Prince. All right. So look.
Torian doesn't have a player option. He just did a 1-year deal.
Yeah, I know. But where is he going to go after this? Don't you see us just re-upping with guys that we know? He's our best.
I would not be disappointed at all if Hayes would.
Reddish,
if they all decided to come back, because
Because they're cheap.
Well, because they're cheap and they do have something positive. Listen, we're going to miss Wood a lot if he can't come back in the playoffs.
I don't think he's coming back this season.
Yeah,
I think of all the guys, it sounds like he is.
He's the least likely to come back. There's no doubt about it.
I don't know what happened to him over the All-Star break. I don't know if he went snowboarding or something somewhere, but it's like, what?
Yeah.
What? Who hurts themselves more?
But it just comes back. It comes back to why. I mean, what Boston did 2 years ago, or what they did last summer, is exactly what the Lakers should do this summer, because those are the two positions that we're getting killed on. If we had somebody, even if it wasn't a spread, even if they couldn't stretch the court, if they were just, let's say, Dwight Howard when he was with the Lakers, if we had a center like that we could put on the court, it would still be worthy of starting. But we didn't even address that at the trade deadline with a few second-round picks, which is really frustrating to me.
I don't know who we could have. I don't know who we could have acquired for second-round picks that would actually be a difference maker. But I mean, I hear you. I understand.
But we don't. You know why? Because we have a price limit. It's like a center. Okay, well, minimum salary, babe. We're not going to pay more than that for that.
If something came out where we would have traded Torian Prince's, what's he making? Like 11 mil, something like that.
4.5.
4.5.
4.5. 4.5.
If something comes out that we could have traded Torian Prince and his 4.5, which is basically the vet minimum, it's a little more. And because of the mechanism by which we offered him that contract, we can give him a bigger raise should we choose to keep him next season, which is terrifying news to me.
10% is the most raise we can give him, because
or you could offer him the MLE and use how much that is for us this.
Well, if we have Trae Young, we'll be above the second apron, so we'll.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I think that they've also nuked the timing. Like if you time your signings a certain way, you can still go up over it, but maybe not. Anyway,
you have to. It used to be that you could do it's till last day of the year. Now it's the first day of the year.
Right. I think that's the difference.
Changed that 2 years ago, which was a major change.
Yeah, it's a major change. It hasn't really.
Guys used to be, 100 million over the cap until the last day. They get the season in.
Cool, bro. I don't think tomorrow against the Nets should be an easy win for a couple of reasons. One, we'll have had a day in New York. Lakers already have tired legs, and hanging out in New York doesn't do anything for anybody's stamina. And I mean, that's what I thought. That's what I saw last night. I saw.
If there's a definition of a trap game, it's the last game of a 6-game streak.
Agreed. Yeah. No. And
he just lost the other game, and so what do you start at? What they need to do is start a 1-game winning streak tomorrow.
Well, that would be great. But I thought I was surprised last night that we didn't see more Max Christie, that they didn't encourage that Dinwiddie has somehow been relegated to corner spot up jump shooter. That's a problem for me because that is not his skill set. I think we're I feel like there was a moment, like a 3-game window, where we were using Spencer Dinwiddie correctly as a driving ball force. Right. And now they're like, no, just go stand in the corner. And I don't understand this. I don't understand.
Another guy I just really hope we can somehow keep.
Dinwiddie?
Yeah. I like his defense a lot.
I think that if Vincent's healthy, if Vincent gets healthy and shows that he can contribute in the playoffs this summer, if he's not Kendrick Nunn 2.0, right? If his knee actually does get better, if he can play and he shows he can play, I think Dinwiddie's a luxury the Lakers probably can't afford.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
I just don't think he's going to play for the vet minimum. I think he's going to find more money somewhere.
Oh, no, he's not going to play. We'd have to use the MLE.
Yeah. So I think that we have other needs. If Vincent is healthy and if you're not trading Reeves and D'Lo, all of these are big ifs, right? We won't know. I think you can't go with that.
Those guys are all gone. I
don't think Reeves is gone. I think you're just throwing pasta at the wall. And no, what?
Well, the problem is that if you want to trade for a $45 million a year player,
I don't.
I know you don't, and I don't either. But
Lakers, let's not talk about it then. If neither of us wants it to happen,
be dead set upon wanting to do exactly.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think that there are other options you could go about to improve the team. So let's look at it this way. All right, wait, listen, where are we at? We're at the 25-minute mark. All right, well, we didn't really get into the bottom half of the standings, but that's fine. The plan is
but it's interesting when you look at the bottom half of the standings because the schedule now is the major factor.
The schedule is a major factor.
Because Phoenix is screwed. Every game that Phoenix plays now, unless the other team folds like they've done for them 2 games in a row,
yeah.
You know, and
no,
doesn't
a two game losing streak right now is devastating to anybody's seeding hopes. You have to avoid losing streaks at all costs. You want winning streaks, obviously. How many games are left in the season? 8 now? 7?
Eight,
7?
eight,
Yeah,
8
games
9,
left.
8 or 9, depending.
Yeah, depending on your record, right? So I think the Kings and the Wolves and OKC all have 9. We have 8. Denver has 8. Not sure about. I'm not looking at the schedule. That's just what I remember from looking at it earlier. Anyhow, I'm just going to give myself some credit. Like 3 weeks ago, I was like, people got to watch out for Houston. Houston might bust its way into the play-in. And everybody I told that to was like, nah.
What do you think this rumors about Sengun being available are?
Listen. Why would that come out? Because one of 2 reasons. One, the Jalen Green camp wants to see him traded because having him off the floor opens up the middle of the court and allows them to play the style of ball that has allowed them to dominate down the stretch. And you could pair Sengun and Steven Adams in a salary dump move. What does Steven Adams make? 11, 12 mil, something like that, 17 mil. I forget what Steven Adams makes. It's between 12 and 15, I want to say. It's a weird number that doesn't fit into a lot of deals for the Lakers. But if you put Sengun's 5 mil, which I think this is next season is the last season of his rookie deal. So if you trade Sengun, that pick swap deal you wanted to float for Markkanen, that's what you're trading for Sengun and Steven Adams. And they're coming together. You're not just going to trade a $6 million player for Alperen Sengun.
Right. No.
Alperen Sengun. However you pronounce his name. I apologize, Mr. Sengun, for pronouncing your name wrong. Thank you. You're taking Steven Adams and his bad Achilles, aged body, Australian hilarity, or New Zealand, wherever he's from in the Pacific. That's coming. Any bad contract they can attach to his rookie deal is coming back to the team that trades for him. I would do that deal in a heartbeat. I would put Steven Adams on the shelf and say, you keep rehabbing, bro. Come the All-Star break, we'll work you into as the backup center because there's that rim protector you want in Steven Adams. There's your backup center, and there's your forward center, however you want to.
No, see, I don't have a problem.
For half the cost of Markkanen. And Markkanen is I like the Markkanen skill set. It is the prototypical modern NBA big man that you would
Well, the thing is, you want guys who fit next to Anthony Davis and are perfect situations. Sengun would be great as a center for the Lakers.
As would Steven Adams, because then you let Adams man the paint.
Yeah, I know.
And AD is a
I'm for any move to get bigger. I would trade for Karl Anthony Towns in a heartbeat too, simply because that's a trade that solves a problem that we've been negligent solving.
Isn't he like a $50 to $54 million player this summer?
I know it could be. I know that.
I think
it's interesting when you look at the Celtics and the Lakers. The Celtics have 4 guys making in the 30s. We got 2 guys in the 40s. They got 4 guys in the 30s, and their one little one is White at 18 million. So it's interesting.
We're gonna put this on the old screen here. Houston Rockets roster salary. I mean, there's a small number of teams I would even want the Lakers to engage with trading.
Goodbye, Jamie. Where are you? Did we lose you?
All right, sorry about that. There we go. Somehow everything changed on my screen too. All right, can you hear me, Tom?
I can.
All right, sorry everybody. That was me. I just typed on the wrong web browser. It's my bad. All right, so I'm all sort of. I'm hungry, is what it is. I haven't really eaten a lot today, so I'm running out.
So where?
I was going to show you. Now there's 3 Laker Toms. Let's get rid of this one. We were talking about the Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Here's their. There's a small number of teams I would trade with. The Rockets are one of them because they found an incredible amount of success. Alperen Sengun. Yeah, look at it. If you trade for him, draft day trade, he's like contract filler, right? What the hell is going on here? Can you hear me, Tom? Tom, can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay. We were talking about, and somehow everything got darker on my screen. I don't know what is going on here. Let's do. Why can't I get rid of the other Laker Tom here?
Well, I tried. I was in 2 windows.
Oh, you were. Oh, that's
and
interesting.
I closed the windows, and that took me out completely.
I see. Gotcha. All right, let's do this again. So here we go. There it is. Show on stream. Here's the Houston Rockets roster salary. So if you look at, yeah, Cool Bro is dominating. Jamie's in the mountains. No, I tech trips are us. That's me, Darren. It's just my brain is not my friend this morning yet. I haven't had enough coffee and I haven't had any food. So that's really what it is. We're coming up on 1 o'clock. So there's just a lot going on this morning. So we were talking about if we were to trade for there's a small number of players I would accept in a trade this summer. One of them is one of the teams is the Houston Rockets. In fact, it's my preferred team because they found such great success without Alperen Sengun. Now, do I think based on his contract that they're going to let him go for anything less than getting rid of
straight up before him? It worked.
Yeah, sure, Tom. That's going to happen. Now, you will be attaching Steven Adams's 12-6 for a total of, depending on when it happens, 13 mil. It's going to be roughly 13 mil. We lost Tom again. There we go. Tom, are you?
I'm there.
Tom? Okay. So you're paying. It's a 13 million salary dump. I don't
how
think.
How many picks are you going to give them?
That would be your Lauri Markkanen deal.
You're going to give them 7 picks?
The pick swaps, yeah.
4 picks, 3 picks, and 4 pick swaps for Sengun?
And Steven Adams, because of the cost, yes.
But Adams, they should give us a pick to take him.
No, that's not how it'll work. Because
but I mean, if they wanted to dump him, then they're using Sengun to dump him.
I mean, listen, none of those young guys. Maybe we could pick up. I don't know. All these other guys are balling out. Jalen Green balling out. Jeff Green. Would they want to dump Jeff Green on us too for 20? Bump that up to 26 mil, right? I don't know how Jeff Green's been playing this season. I don't think he's actually playing much. I think he's kind of a very overpriced advisor role.
You know,
so for 21 million,
the problem to a certain extent is that there are going to be probably half a dozen quote unquote superstars that are going to be on the market this summer.
Go ahead.
And that means that it's not like there's just one superstar out there and there's 6 teams bidding for that one superstar. It's a lot different when there's 6 superstars and 6 teams.
Sure.
And so the question is, who might be you want to find situations, at least in my estimation, if the Lakers are going up against the toughest competition, they're going to lose. Okay. Because it's not what you can offer that makes a deal work. It's what they'll accept.
Sure. And they will.
And a lot of people are willing to offer. See, I would go after a guy like Jonathan Isaac, or a guy, like Kelly Olynyk. these are players who can have a massive impact on the Lakers. And maybe you give and so you give them one, and maybe you give them 2 first-round picks. And there's issues with every player that you're able to get that you're going to be able to get. The Lakers are not going to be able to get the number 1 person in the world who's available unless it happens to be a clutch client, and they pull off a Anthony Davis deal. So there's a price that's going to be on everybody. Either the guy is not good on defense, or the guy has got a lot of big salary, or the guy's got a history of injury. But you find the guys that make the big difference. The Porzingis's last year, that was a big move by the Celtics to bet on Porzingis, and like you said, he really came through.
He has really come through.
Flipping Holiday flipping Smart for a couple of picks that they then used to get Porzingis. That was a brilliant move. And then bringing Drew Holiday in to replace him on that situation.
Well, that was Milwaukee. That was Milwaukee with his head up his ass. I mean, that will go down as the worst. If they had just,
it wasn't like Drew's washed up at 40,
No, because if you look at Adrian Griffin's record as a coach, he had gotten that offense working, and it wasn't just because of Dame Lillard. It was because of they had made some tweaks that made sense. If they had given him the tool of Drew Holiday, the defense wouldn't have suffered the way that it did.
Right.
And I get that everybody's giving Doc Rivers props for changing the defense, but their record under Doc Rivers is alarmingly bad. When you switch a coach,
you watch the team and you know that team is not going to be there at the end.
No, that team is not together.
They don't have what they had during the championship run.
That team is not a band of brothers. That team does not look to me like a band of brothers. It looks to me like a team that looks
like you guys taking turns, man.
Yeah, and I don't know if a summer under, it's like one of those things where, like, the Milwaukee Bucks are going to give it a summer and another at least half or 2/3 of a season before they start to contemplate a change. They won't be trading any of these guys this summer. They're going to give Chris Middleton a chance to get healthy and see how it all looks after training camp under Doc and yada, yada, yada. Same thing that happened with Quinn Snyder in Atlanta, right? Quinn Snyder in Atlanta, everybody's like, well, let's give him now you see what happens. The problem is Trae Young in Atlanta. The problem is Dame Lillard in Milwaukee. And these guys that have such an astronomical salary but are not two-way players that are excellent on only one side of the court. That is the problem with both of those teams. If you were to break those two, same with us when we had Russ. The problem with us was that we were top heavy on a guy who was excellent on neither end of the court. He wasn't an offensive threat or a defensive menace. And so when you have that situation with your salary cap, especially with this new modern NBA CBA, you're going to run into these scenarios where you got to cut bait and run. And I think that you're going to see superstars realize we're not going to win maximizing our dollar. And what will it take? What will be the defining characteristic of contracts going forward? Will it be, well, it's not my fault we all agreed to the CBA. I still want to make the most money I can because my window to make money is very small, which I think will be the case.
It's not going to change.
It's not going to change, right? I agree. No, I agree. But I think you will see some teams. Where, like, it's basically like what the Heat did. All right, we'll all take a little bit of a pay cut to make room for these 2 or 3 guys. We know we complement each other. We all.
Hey, everybody throw in $5 million so we can get 2 or 3 guys that we would like to add. Yeah, we'll do that.
It'll be an interesting riddle for the Lakers if they try to extend LeBron. Do they extend him for the max?
LeBron's not going to take less than the max.
I would agree, but I think he should if he wants to win.
The Lakers are not going to offer less than the max.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, well, they didn't.
Long-term investment. You invest on. That's part of what they want to be seen as.
I understand.
They built everything on Kobe and this whole situation, and that it resonates with the fans. It resonates with the team, and it's something that. It's something the team stands for that I think is very important to everybody, including the fans. I would have a hard time being a Boston Celtics fan, even if I grew up in Boston, and bled green and so forth, just the way they treat their players.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, they have absolutely, it's like, so long, see ya, that's companies that don't value loyalty and time that people have put in the organization and what they've meant to the organization and the
Yeah, I have a
community.
big problem with how they treated Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, really. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
That is
and I have to say, congrats to Isaiah Thomas for punching his way, kicking and clawing his way back into the NBA. Like, that's brilliant to me. I love it.
As a small guard, as a small guard, I hate small guards on teams, but I love to see a small guard succeed, man.
So, looking at the Minnesota Timberwolves next season, they're going to blow past that second apron. It looks like
They can't. They got to get rid of somebody.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Karl Anthony Towns.
I think they're really going to try to. Well,
Naz Reid is better than Towns.
Yeah, but if you get rid of one of Cat or Gobert, you solve the problem, right?
Then I got to get rid of Gobert. He's more valuable than Towns is.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I disagree with that completely.
Hmm.
I think, listen, I love his defensive effort. I think that he is one of those players that has such a low basketball IQ. And I find his IQ to be questionable across the board, from his incredible display prior to the COVID outbreak to some of the things he's said and done, to this notion that somehow he's a better player than
Draymond.
Like he's just he's a tremendous athlete.
Some guys just don't have a. It's like a blank in his social.
I don't know what it is, I don't care to speculate. But like, they only have next season, they're nowhere near a full roster, and they're at 175 already. So they got to get rid of one of. And
the ownership thing is going to have a big impact on this because.
Well, Glenn Taylor's
trying to hang on to the team now that the prospects seem a lot better.
I mean, Kurt, it's been. I find this recent, like, gambling is so much worse than it was now. I don't know that that's true. I'd like to see a study done. You could always gamble, almost from anywhere through DraftKings and online websites. I think that. Yeah, this whole thing with Ohtani's interpreter like shined a weird light on it, but like, it's far from the first time something like that's happened. It happened with Pete Rose. It's happened. It happens. It's just, I don't know. I'd be curious to see how much it's. I washed my car today. It rained here in California, at least Southern California. I don't know about Northern California. I'd be curious to see what the difference is, based on some states like California loosening restrictions on gambling. And there's no team in Vegas yet. I don't know. It's just interesting to me. I'd be curious to see what the effect truly has been at this point. I think that there's a problem with the referees in all sports. I think that people are subject to moments of weakness in all walks of life. I don't care where you come from or what you believe, or if you're a person of faith or not, or anything. Everybody's prone to moments of weakness.
There's a lot more of that in the old days than there is today, man.
I think that it was just harder to unearth it in the old days. I think that it was easier to keep stuff like that under your hat because all you had to do was like go and talk to somebody on the street, and there was never any record of your interaction that wasn't done through social media.
Wire transfers.
Yeah, all this stuff. Yeah,
that's a tough thing.
Whatever. I'd be curious to see. I hope that somebody does conduct a study, because I would be curious if it's worse or less. I tend to think it's probably roughly about the same. I could be wrong. I'd be happy to be wrong.
I think that there's probably less. I think that there's probably less cheating because it's harder to do now. And the other side of it is that let's say if a player really. The problem is that if you go and bet heavily in big money,
I mean,
somebody's got leverage over you that is really big leverage.
Right. That's why athletes ought not to bet. But I mean, Curtis Fair
That's
brings
why
up.
they generally have their interpreter. Or oops, I didn't mean to say that.
Well, you must be a Dodger fan.
I hate the Dodgers.
I mean, I don't think Otani. Listen, I followed Otani very closely. I would have an extra. I have a hard time believing Otani even likes to do anything like play cards or play video games. The man is universally focused on the game and his craft of baseball, like to a point
I sure hope so for his sake.
I think it's probably unhealthy. I was surprised he got married. I was like, how does he have time for a wife? Like the dude lives and breathes baseball. Like that's what he does. That's all he does. Like his routine is. Anyway, Curtis Fair brings.
How do you explain that though? But man, pay $4.5 million for your interpreter. I know you make a couple $100 million a year.
He makes a lot of money, and I think he was rewarding his interpreter. And I think. I don't know. I'm not again.
Well, if I was him and I was gambling, I'd have my interpreter put the bets. I wouldn't be betting them myself.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, listen. I wanted to bring up Curtis Fair's point. Look at the Jonte Porter issue. Death threats have been issued to people for World Cup losses because just because your team, like they've actually killed Brazilians have killed their goalies.
Soccer is not. That's not even
being a Brazilian goalie is like being the drummer in Spinal Tap. Like it's coming with or a keyboardist in the Grateful Dead. Like the chances that you're going to survive long are low. I don't know what it is about those job profiles, but you're not going to make it very long. So yeah, thank you, cool bro. May the force be with you as well. Although I'm a master of none, and so whatever. Yeah. She probably does have. She gets the athlete's life, but listen, being in a marriage just does. Understanding is only half that. You have to meet people halfway, and so I'm just exactly, Kurt. This is my point: is that like fans are crazy, and they just everybody gets crazier with the advent of social media because now you get to broadcast it and get the attention. We look at like my weird logo, or like we look at like the weird thing I said. And by the way, that's not my real name. I'm hiding because I'm a coward. I hate social media for that because all it does is enable cowards. All it does is enable just stupidity. Frankly, I have less and less need for social media. Yet here I am on a podcast. So go figure. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to life. Let's get back to the Lakers. So, and specifically the Timberwolves. I think Tom, you're right. I don't see how the Timberwolves. I mean, what are 2, 4, 6?
Well, if the current owner prevails,
he will. It's his team to sell or not. That's done.
Apparently, that's up in the air because they had all of the documents and everything ready supposedly. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the other camp is supposed to say like, "Oh gosh, you're right. We suck at buying a team." Yeah, we'll never. They're going to say everybody's going to say exactly what they say.
The motivation apparently is that the current owner sees that hey, well, this team is worth a lot more than what I sold it for.
Yeah. I prefer Admiral Akbar to Master because it's more correct. I like being an Admiral more than an Master. An Admiral just sounds a lot more distinguished. And I have a hat to go with it somewhere up in my closet. I'll put it on one of these shows. Look, Minnesota has 9 players under contract for next season. That means they have to come up to 4 more players minimum, right? 13-man roster is the minimum, or is it 12?
12.
Pete Rose, I wish I had an interpreter to play.
You want an interpreter like that? That's kind of scary. I always have my interpreter make.
I wish I had an interpreter to blame for half the shit I did in my life. That'd be great. It's fucking this. Sorry, Gerald. At 49:16, you're gonna want to edit out my language. My brain is not my friend. 9 guys under contract. They got to come up to 12 or 13. I can't remember what the minimum roster.
Well, what is? Flip it over. Switch it over. Let's see what's their salaries. What does?
It's on the screen. It should be.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There, I see. Okay. You know who's really been surprising is Mike Conley.
Oh no, I'm never surprised by Mike Conley. He's steady as all, and they need to keep him, right? That team falls apart with no Mike Conley. So Mike Conley will not be playing for the vet minimum. There's no way. So if you sign him,
$36 million, man, that's nothing. Then you go jump to 49 million next year, huh?
Well, 175 is already past the second apron, right? There's no. It's in the 160s for the second apron. And
see, Towns is going to be hard for some teams to take because of the $49 million, man.
I agree. They have to maybe look at trading him on draft day, because draft day he's still making 36-16.
If the Lakers want a superstar and they are dead set on having to have a superstar, then God, please just get one that plays a position that will help AD.
No, and that's Cat to a T, right? Cat and AD could play. They could
you got to pay him a lot, and you got to, you
could run unlike Gobert and Towns. You could run and Davis Towns pick and roll.
Yeah,
with one
the
of
other
them.
Thing you can do, the other thing that you
clear out
can
the
do too, is you can make this a 3-team trade where you don't have to put up as much money, where you can put up maybe even more money than that and get other players back. But there might be who else is on that roster there that they've got down at the cheap end?
Nobody good. Leonard Miller. You really want Leonard Miller? Jordan McLaughlin, Wendell Moore Jr., Jaden McDaniels. They just extended
Jaden McDaniels would be great. Yeah,
that ain't happening. They're about to pay him $22 million. So he won't be.
Nikolai Alexander Walker's not bad.
They're good. They need him because he's a good player and he's cheap for them. You're not getting any of their cheap players. You're getting one of their expensive players. Right. So if it is a 3-team trade, you have to look at other teams who would be involved cheap players. Minnesota's not going to get rid of. Yeah, Tom's checking out the clearance section. No, we got into trades because it's obvious to me.
Definitely, Towns is one of the centers that I'm in my article that I'm targeting.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that it's more likely that because of his player option, I think that it's going to be hard for Minnesota to trade Towns because.
Oh yeah, it's going to be hard because look at the contract.
No, I don't need nothing to do with the contract. Nothing, because he's been a Timberwolf. He's Mr. Timberwolf right now. I know that it's Anthony Edwards' team right now.
It's Ant-Man's team.
I agree. I'm not, and I think Karl Anthony Towns would agree with that too, especially since he's not playing right now. I think that the problem.
And they got to sign, and they got to keep Connolly too, man. They're gonna.
Right. So I wouldn't be surprised if they really made Gobert available for much less than they paid for him, because Gobert has a player option in 2025-26. He's picking that up. No team is going to pay him $46 million. It's just not going to happen. So if you make Gobert available for that, I tell you, I don't even think the Lakers can put together a package to get as high as $43 million.
Well, if they put it in a 3-team deal, they don't have to go that high. They're going to have to get rid of it. They're going to have to get close to it.
No, but then they can't.
The problem is how they want to leave room to be able to use their MLE, and they want, because they're going to need to add people on there. So, right. So they got to send out as much salary as they can.
That's what I'm saying. That you can't with the Lakers. They can't do a 3-team deal where somebody else chips in a more expensive player, because then they're blasting past the second cap, which we all know will never happen. They will never go past the second apron. So
I don't know. It's amazing when. Let me tell you, I've done so many trades that the dynamics dramatically change, and all the rules that apply or the matching make it a lot easier to match.
When you're under the apron, I know that's why they will never go past the second apron. They will never, ever, never.
Well, they can't. It's
just not going to happen. Not while Jeannie owns the team.
We'll see.
It'll never happen while Jeannie Buss owns the team. It will never happen.
We'll see.
No, I'll bet you $5. A standing bet for the next 3 years. $5 that we don't go over the apron with Jeannie Buss.
No, I can't keep track of bets that low.
I can. Oh,
sorry.
Oh, buddy. All right. Anyway, I don't think the Lakers could fit Gobert or Towns on their team at that salary, because between
what they have to do, they have to be looking for players who have the potential that could help the Lakers be centers, but who also, there's a reason why the team is going to trade them.
That brings me back to Sengun. That brings me back to Houston.
Sengun is exactly Sengun. I think,
but it's gonna take a salary dump. You're taking at least Steven Adams' contract on.
That's why the guy I still like best of all of them is Jonathan Isaac, and I've been watching 4 or 5 of his games this year.
Yeah, but why would Orlando trade him?
Same reason. salary cap, man, luxury tax.
No,
They got guys that they got to pay.
No.
He's not. He's not in there. He's not in the same window as the guys on their team, and he's got 2 years left. That's it. They're not going to give him. They're not going to keep him raising.
No, listen.
If you offer some, you offer.
Okay, Tom. Here's Orlando right here on the window. Look at the window. Jonathan Isaac is making 17.4 this season and next.
Right.
Next season, they don't need to dump salary. They're already well under the cap, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players. If they pick up every single option, they're picking up Paolo's option. They're picking up Ingles' option. They're picking up Wagner's. All of these guys' options are getting picked up. There's all of them. There's no reason not to, right? So, because if they pick them up, they're still well under the salary.
You're giving them draft capital. You give them a couple.
They don't need draft capital. They have all their own pick. No, nobody's trading with Orlando unless you're giving them a superstar. So cross Orlando off your list just for logic.
No, I disagree with you.
Oh, of course you do, because every trade just requires the 2029 Laker draft pick 4,000 years in the future, because that's such a valuable commodity. It's almost like winning the lottery in California. It's ridiculous. No, it's not happening. You could. I mean, listen, they might even they might simply watch Fultz walk, re-up Harris at a decent salary, give him a raise, start him at 15 mil. I don't know who Oakley is. I've never heard of him. And Goga Bidesdale, whatever. I mean, yeah, he's big. You offer Rui and 2 picks, and you can get him and probably get him and one of their guards. No, you're crazy. It's just not. No.
Wait and see.
Trust me. I've waited and seen.
He's going to be targeted by lots of teams.
Oh, I'm sure. And the Orlando Magic will be like, I will gladly let you overpay us for Jonathan.
He's not going to be part of their long-term plan. He's not part of their long-term plan. He plays the same position.
Yes, he is. You don't need to be part. They just need him to be part of their plan for this season and next season. He's part of their plan this season because he's playing great, and their record is great.
They can cash him in for something that's more valuable to them.
Why do they need to cash him in? Who are they going to trade for at 17.4 that's going to dramatically alter the fortune of their team? Rui Hachimura is not going to dramatically alter the fortune of that team.
Oh, he could be a big factor on that team.
No, he's not as good as Jonathan Isaac.
Well, but it depends what you're looking for.
So you're telling me this is your logic here. I'm going to repeat your logic back at you so that you hear it. Your logic here is that the less valuable player with 1 or 2 draft
logic is that they're trading for draft capital. The player
they don't need draft capital. They have all of
everybody wants draft capital.
No, they don't.
If they can take a player who's not a vital player who's just playing 15 minutes a game.
No.
If they play just 15 minutes a game and they can cash that in.
Jonathan Isaac is playing more than 15 minutes a game. Jonathan Isaac isn't playing 15 minutes a game.
That's all he's playing. Look at his average.
No, that's his average, but he's more valuable to them than that.
He's playing 15 minutes a game. He's still an injury risk long term.
Also, why I wouldn't
trade up at the same position as Ben Carroll.
I also wouldn't trade for Matt Carroll. Neither one of them, and they wouldn't trade Matt Carroll anyway.
Well, they're not going to trade Ben Carroll. Ben Carroll's the future of the franchise.
No, Paolo is the future of the franchise.
Who's the future of the franchise?
Paolo Banchero.
That's what I just said.
No, you said Matt Carroll.
I did not say Matt Carroll.
Yes, you did.
I said Ben Carroll.
Oh, it's Banchero. It's Banchero. Anyway, that's where I got confused. My bad. All right. Anyway, I don't see the Lakers trading for Jonathan Isaac, mainly because he's an injury risk. I would be surprised if anybody trades with Orlando, because Orlando is in a great position. They can offer a free agent a great contract, and they can create as much room as they want for that free agent by not picking up options on any number of players. Moritz, Wagner. I mean, one of the Wagner brothers could go. Wagner, I should say. One of the Wagner brothers could go. I don't see them renouncing Suggs. Suggs is a fantastic two-way player.
Suggs has been in a lot of draft rumors or a lot of trade rumors.
You know, the guy they could move, and I would take, and I'd be happy to have him on our team, would be Ingles. He makes a little bit too much. And you could swap, and they don't have great guards.
Who'd they trade today? Who'd they get Ingles? How'd they get Ingles?
They just signed him with the MLE after
MLE.
Yeah, so he makes a flat 11 mil. So he basically you could swap. I would do this. I would swap Vincent and a first round pick for a protected first round pick for Ingles. Now you're getting size.
No, I wouldn't waste the pick on Ingles.
I would waste a pick on Ingles because he brings so much more to the table than Vincent does. And it allows you to keep Dinwiddie, who I think I like Dinwiddie's skill set more than I like Vincent's. And for the money you're paying, I mean, both are going to be injury prone. Both are bad knees at this point, or bad legs, bad wheels. I would not take Wagner back. I will never have Moose Mo Wagner back on this team. You would have to pay me $500,000. Yeah, everybody would take Franz Wagner. Yeah, but that's not the point. No, but they're not getting rid of Franz. Franz is the cheap one. He's the better one. And I think he's got one more year left on his rookie deal. Yeah, he's only making $7 million next season with a team option. So they're picking that up. And then they'll extend him at some point during the course of the year. Mo, they'll probably pick up just to keep his brother happy. So that's why, if they wanted to make a play, let's say they wanted to overpay for Klay Thompson, right? Klay Thompson's an upgrade over Markelle Fultz, in my opinion. Markelle Fultz made $17 million this year. Let's say they offer Klay Thompson $25 million. That's still under the first apron. That means they're only at $129. Let's say they bump that up to $130. Gave him $30 million, which is way too much to pay for Klay Thompson at this point in his career. But exactly, Mo is like their Thanos. I don't know how you pronounce any of the Antetokounmpo's brothers' names. They're hard for me. I get all tongue tied. I like to call him Thanos because then he could just win a game for you. Anyway, I don't see I would love. Listen, there's guys I would love to see on the Lakers, but I just don't see it as realistic as them getting him.
Well, I don't know why. Here's the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
I don't want to waste draft picks on a superstar.
Agreed.
Because I think that's first off, you're not going to get the guy that you really want because he's probably going to go to a team that's got more picks to offer than you can. Or young players or whatever it is that they have. So what you have to do is you have to find a play. You have to overpay for somebody. And what you want to do is you want to find somebody who fits exactly what you need. And the two needs that we have right at this point in time, the two greatest needs are a point of attack defensive guard who can shut down perimeter players, and a second stretch five who can protect the rim and stretch the floor and allow Davis to play forward.
Yeah.
So if you can trade for anybody who fits one of those roles, whether it's Marcus Smart, whether it's anybody who falls into those categories,
yeah,
I think is a move that is a better usage of that draft capital at this point in time. And if you can make that be a star, listen, if I would take Kyrie Irving if we could get him in a trade, because I think he is the third star that could work out just simply because the guy is such a dramatic player. You got all these costs you got to associate with it, but that's apparently less of a worry today than it was before. But ideally, you want to find somebody that you're going to trade for, regardless of who it is that fits one of those two needs. And if you're going to trade for a superstar, my goal would be to find somebody who is a superstar who could fit one of those roles. Is there a superstar center who potentially fit that role? Is there a superstar point of attack defensive guard who fits that role? Is it Marcus Smart? Is it Alex Caruso? I'd take either one of them back in
I would take Caruso back.
But I'd rather spend the picks. Give me a guy like Karl Anthony Towns and Alex Caruso as a duo to add to the existing team. And there's 5 or 6 duos like that I could put together. Those are the duos that we should be spending this damn draft capital to get.
Well, we can't get both Karl Anthony Towns and Caruso, not unless you trade AD. There's no
trade Reeves.
Listen. The Lakers have 4. If you put LeBron and AD off to the side, right? The Lakers have 4 contracts that matter in the summer. Vincent at 11, Rui at 17, Reeves at 15, right?
12, I think.
12. So that's 23. That's 30 million right there. And D'Lo, if
you're 47 million with D'Lo, and when you throw in DHS, you're
nobody's trading for Jalen Hood-Schifino.
Well, we're gonna throw him in.
Sure. Yeah, whatever. No, listen, the Lakers can't even. That's what I'm saying. Without D'Lo opting in, and there's no way
they get $50 million worth of money there.
Not if D'Lo doesn't opt in.
No, that's true.
This is what I really think.
Why going for a superstar is really a bad move, because it's going to cost D'Lo walking. Because you can't play Trae Young and D'Lo in the same backcourt.
I just don't think Trae Young's even an option for us at this point.
Everybody says, listen, all of the word from the Lakers camp is that Trae Young is the first top priority. Now, they may have other people that they're dreaming about. But the realistic targets, it's Trae Young, man.
All right. So first off, I want to go back. Gary had a great comment. I'm just trying to say, where did that go? I lost it. It was somewhere on there. Here it is. Gabe Vincent is getting resurrected on Easter Sunday. That's the funniest thing I've heard of. That kills me. That and Kurt's joke.
That is a good one.
It's a good one. And I hope, you know what? I hope it works out better than it did for the other guy. And then Gary follows it up with Lakers going to be trash regardless. Blow it up. They're not going to blow it up. So it's just folly to even say such things. So this is the thing. I think the real question, everybody, I think we're looking at this the wrong way. The question isn't who the Lakers would want to trade for. I think there's a whole long list of guys that they would love to have on the team. I think the real question is, who are the Lakers going to value on the roster now after the season?
The problem is that there's nobody. If they trade for a superstar, the chances are they're.
Let's not limit ourselves to superstars. Let's just say that everybody's on the table. If D'Lo walks, you can't trade for a superstar anyway. No superstar makes 30 mil. And that's the highest you can get. That's about the highest you can get to. You can get to like 35, I guess, with JHS, because Christie gone, D'Lo potentially gone, right? So if you look at D'Lo as that complementary piece, and you realize that, okay, we talk him into opting in, and we're going to extend him as soon as we can up to what, 25? Sure, right? I would do that.
I want you to happen to have a defensive guard to pair with him.
I would agree with that.
So you don't do that unless your objective is that you're going to go out and get somebody who can defend.
And you don't think Vincent can refine that gear again if he's healthy? Listen, I think
nobody
knows what you're going to get out of the game.
Vincent's success in Miami really was as a shooter more than it was as a defender.
Yeah,
he's not Dennis Schroeder at the defense.
No, I think they're about equal.
He's not as good as
Smart. He's not as good as Smart. I think he and Schroeder probably equal about it. I think Schroeder's basically the basic difference is that Schroeder's a better driver, Vincent's a better shooter, and that for me is really where that's the main difference. I mean, neither one was a defensive stalwart.
Well, and neither one of them really is. They're not point guards in the sense that, like, D'Lo rarely will miss an easy pass. These guys don't make the easy pass as regular as they don't just continue to repeat play after play after play after play. The
D'Angelo Russell question is going to dominate the summer more than any other one. Because,
here's the problem that I have, because in many ways we're looking at what is a top 5 offense in the league. Genuine, legitimate top 5 offense. No effing questions.
I agree.
Okay? And a big reason for that is 2 superstars and 2 burgeoning stars in Russell and Reeves, who basically can take over a game and become the 3rd star on the team regularly. Not consistently, but regularly enough that 2 out of 5 games they'll do it. And that's a combination that's worked really well. But a big, huge part of it is D'Lo's volume 3-point shooting, and when it happens, and how it ignites the team, and his playmaking has just been elite.
Well, don't you think that Rui also fills that void? He has been shooting more threes.
No, Rui fills a different void, which is Rui gives us somebody who is growing into a role of playing as good as he is, as big as he is, because he's now starting to occasionally get these blocks and get these plays where he's become elite at he's as good as anybody in a short mid-range jumper, man. And the Lakers take great advantage of it, but his driving to the rim has really been the problem is that when you put him out there with the other four guys, the other teams don't have anybody to guard him except for 6'6" guys.
Well, that's what I was going to say. His ability to post up is actually underrated as well.
Oh, totally.
And the post game is underrated in the NBA and the modern game.
Well, but you really have to be. The problem is it's not a team play. You know, I mean, Rui has gotten better at making the pass to the corner if the guy is wide open and so forth.
Agreed.
And dropping off a pass inside if he makes a great spin.
Darren literally just posted Rui can score, but he is unselfish, and I think that's absolutely right.
No, Rui is. This is why I love the idea of Vando, frankly, playing the two, because Vando will have the same type of advantages on having a smaller guy on him, and teams are gonna just choke if they have to play a liner that includes Rui and Vando plus LeBron and AD.
That brings up an interesting point, because I have not been including Vando's new upgraded contract in any of my calculations for trades. And come July 1st, or whatever the first day of free agency is, he's eligible to be
traded.
And then what is he making? 12, 11 or 12?
12,
something like that?
12. So
yeah, about the same as Reeves. Yeah. So that does get you closer to the 50 mil that we're talking about for the money.
But man, I don't want to give up all those guys for one player.
This is the equation that the Lakers will be facing. This is I don't either. You know me.
Why don't we what is this? This is AAU ball. We're just going to have a new draft every year for a whole new team.
That was the way for a couple of years there under Rob, wasn't it not?
Well, it's pretty close to it.
The turnover was
talking about continuity, but we keep talking about continuity and how we're better when we play big, but we don't do anything to back up those concepts.
No, I know. It's going to be this summer is going to be the proof in the pudding. This summer will be an interesting test of what Laker ownership and what Laker front office values. I think what they will choose to do based on the playoffs, based on how the playoffs go, if D'Lo plays in the playoffs like he did this last couple of months in the regular season,
they have to resign him.
They have to resign him, and that's it.
They have to build their plans around that.
Then you maybe look at seeing if you can move Vincent, or seeing if you can move. I don't think they'll trade Reeves. He's too cheap and he's too good. You could look at pairing Vincent and
I don't know. I would trade Reeves I think we could trade Reeves in a pick for Caruso. Straight up.
You'd have to get one more player in there on the Chicago side, because Caruso only makes 8, I think. 8.5, I think is what he makes now.
Well, I think that if the salary's under the MLE, I think that it'll still match.
Well, let's look. I think. Let's see. Chicago Bulls roster salary. And there we go. And drop it down to there.
What's Reed's salary for next year?
12 something. Let's look at. I've got Caruso here. Caruso makes. I'm sorry, 9.8. 9.8. So I think
he'll match up okay.
They're still $3 million apart. Doesn't it have to be within 15%?
No. It's 75%. You cannot take back more than 125%.
So it's the difference in $3 million. Reeves makes 12.9.
What's Reeves make?
12.9 next summer, and Caruso makes 9.9. So there's a difference in $3 million.
That'll work.
It'll be close, but I think you work. And if they wanted to, they could throw in Maxwell Lewis, or not. That's me.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm on the wrong team.
But that's a move that I think makes sense for both teams, and it's a value for value trade. We trading offense for defense.
They could throw in Terry Taylor, somebody who's on the end of the bench who doesn't play, Julian Phillips, and just make it work. I would do that too. You know me. I love Alex Caruso. I would bring Caruso back.
Well, but I think we both agree that if D'Lo
I get that
out
reference.
in the
That's
playoffs,
for me.
if D'Lo plays extremely well in the playoffs in the
Yeah.
rest of the year, and the team then has to keep him, because to give him away or let him walk, how are you going to replace that offense? You
can't. You cannot let him walk, because the problem is you're basically giving up free money.
Yeah,
that's the real problem. It's
so if
not
you keep him, you gotta have somebody like Caruso or Marcus Smart as his running mate in the back.
I mean, the only other option is to maybe overpay and keep Max Christie, but like Max Christie couldn't even get in the game yesterday when Reeves and D'Lo had tired legs. So like
he's had in this winning streak of 5 games, he had the second best defensive rating on the team.
I don't understand why Christie doesn't get a little bit more. I'm not saying we need to consider starting him or that he needs to average X amount of minutes. I just am surprised that he doesn't have more of a consistent role. His role really fluctuates a lot.
Well, he's filling injuries. That's why.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the problem. All right. Anyway, we've been at this. I got to go eat. I'm dying. This is a great talk, Tom. I'd like to thank our incredible chat. Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, Kurt, this is the last great point. With Vincent's return, Max will get less minutes, more likely Reddish as well. I'm cool with that. I think Reddish
has the worst plus minus on the team.
He hasn't come back from that ankle injury well, unfortunately. And I look, I was rooting for Cam when he became a Laker. I was rooting for Cam when he found that next level of defense that he discovered under our coaching staff, or that he just chose to engage in. I just don't see him having a big role.
Well, here's a key point we should end with. During that 5-game streak, not only was the best 5 players our starters offensively,
by a country
on defense, 4 of the starters, including D'Lo and Reeves, were in the top 5 defenders.
I know.
So their defense has improved dramatically, and part of it is that, think about it as a player. If you're on a court and the guy you're guarding is just eating you up and taking you to the rim every time and scoring on you, you better be able to, when you get the ball back, you better be able to punish him even more, or you're losing that game. And by being able to have their offense being where we're playing a style that lets them have power on their offense, lets them use their offensive strengths to really take advantage of the other players that they're guarding them, it really helps them defensively, because it gives them a balance so that they can really come back and play hard on defense. And to their credit, I thought that D'Angelo and Austin both had moments of playing extremely improved defense in the last 5 games.
I agree. I think some of it was also the teams we played, and I think that they've taken on the challenge of improving on that end. And I think it's a combination of all those things. Yeah, I agree with this. We'll end with this. Kurt Affair, I think Austin is like 9th in deflections. He's not as bad a defender as people make him out to be. I think the issue that people have is that he's able to be. You can back him down and score on him. Right. So as long as the Lakers can account for that reality by sending help when they see it happening.
But there's a lot of guys in the league besides Trae Young and Austin Reeves who get backed down like that over.
No, Trae Young. Trae, he'll blow by you on the perimeter too. He won't stay. He'll be like, well, see how that guy go by me? He is fast. Woo. I don't know. I'm fast too, I guess. I could have kept up with him if I tried, but I didn't. I'm Trae Young, everybody. I'm the problem, not the solution. All right. On that note, if you don't know how I feel about Trae Young becoming a Laker, I hope that made it obvious. I'm not in favor.
Lakers are going to win. Lakers are going to win the remaining 8 games.
I think they're going to go 6-2.
8-0. 8-0.
All right. So Max will get 0 minutes and Cam should get 0 minutes, but I think Cam will still give. Yeah, Rodell, you might be right. All right. On that note, thank you, Lakerholics chat. Lakers Fast Break chat. Thank you, Lakerholics around the world, for being into come by Lakerholics.com. Argue with Tom and I, Mongo, Michael H. DJ is sad. He's a sad panda these days. He's always sad when the Lakers lose, and he's got an epic mustache.
Well, he's rooting now for the Yankees. We have a game this afternoon. We're going to go 3 against the Astros.
Listen, baseball's all but dead to me. All but dead.
Well, that's because you're an Angels fan, man. What can we say?
Just sell the team.
Just change ownership. Change ownership.
Sell the team already. There's
Change to a new team.
Just get back into the billboard
Why
business.
don't you join the Yankees?
No, my friends, my other LA friends are like, you should just become a Dodgers fan. I'm like, that's like saying I should become a Clippers fan. I'm about to punch you in the face. Like, don't suggest it. Oh no, Tom had a Coke. It made its appearance every once in a while. Don't feel bad. Tom's go Angels, and go Lakers most of all. Go Lakers most of all. So for Gerald Glassford and the entire Lakers Fast Break team of Joe Soro, Nick, Sean, Tom, myself, Stone Hansen. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, and so I forget if Z when she posts the email stuff. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching us and supporting us. Like and subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating, and send Gerald a nice email. He likes to hear positive feedback. Somebody already sent an email about me and my points, so that they disagreed with. So that means I'm doing a great job. All right, have a good Sunday, everybody, and happy Easter.